Hello everyone. I wanted to take the time and make a video on how to create a club ride. Now I find that in our Spider Rider Club that we have a lot of active members who really enjoy the rides that we put together, but I find there is a lack of those riders involved with the actual mechanics of the club. And part of that is, what do they do to get involved? One of the things and one of the easiest ways to get involved is to become a ride captain, which allows you to create a ride for your club and present it to everyone. You pick a date and you have all these great people with the same interest all wanting to go on your ride. But the problem is not just getting the people, because we have active people, or members should I say, is how do you create that ride? So there's a bit of a disconnect between active club members that want to be more involved, but they're a little hesitant on becoming a road captain because they don't know where to start with creating a ride. So my goal here in this video is to give you a quick overlaying tutorial on how I create a ride, what I use to create a ride, and that will be part one. Part two will consist of what I do after I put the ride together, but I really want to start with the basics. And the basic ride program and putting everything together is something that everybody has on their computer, everyone has on their phones, which makes integration between making the ride, passing it along to your members for the ride, and having those members have the ability to download it on their phone or on their computer to print out the directions or to actually use their phone as GPS. Simple. It's almost something that just should be standard for most clubs. At least we're trying to make it, or I'm trying to make it standard for our club, and that's Google Maps. It's simple, it's easy. Like I said, it's readily available. So let's do this. Let's get involved. Let's get right into what I'm talking about and the basics of what I do to create a ride. So the first thing I do is I open up a web browser, specifically Google Chrome web browser, which I will do here. I'm going to drag and drop this into the screen so you guys can see exactly what I am doing. So here's your typical web browser, Google Chrome. It's really what you're going to have to use to create this. You want to start off with, on the top right hand corner, you'll see the Google Apps. If you see that here, okay, you want to left click that. You want to open up this bar, and basically what you're going to have are all these different Google Apps. Now what I do, and the nice thing about Google is you can take anything that you need to the top of your menu that you use often. So I leave Google Maps right there, so it's always readily available for me. So let's go ahead, let's click on Google Maps, left click on it, and now Google Maps is open, okay? I'm gonna scroll out, I'm gonna show you the area where I live, where I'm gonna create this map. And when you are creating a ride, it's always suggested that before you start or even get to this point of opening up the map, have an idea of where you want to go, what you want to see, how long do you want to go for, and is this going to be a beginner ride, an intermediate, or an expert ride? And that is something you should talk to the other road captains about, or what is the parameters in your specific club that would make a ride anywhere from a beginner to an expert ride. Okay, so I have Google Maps open. I'm going to zoom in. I already know where my starting location is. My starting location on this specific ride is going to be at the Home Depot right here. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to click on Home Depot, and Home Depot is going to populate on the left-hand side of our screen where the direction bar is. You'll notice once you click on that, for whatever reason, the default area is the second location, not the first location of your trip that you're planning. So what you want to do is go to these arrows. You want to left click and reverse where you're going. So now Home Depot is the first spot in place, and you can see on your map right here, Home Depot is highlighted. From this point here, you want to make a determination of what your next goal is in this trip. Now, do you have a destination? Are you doing historic areas, covered bridges, museum, parks, whatever you are, whatever you're planning on doing, where is your second stop? And oftentimes you can just put that address straight in. What I'm going to do, have this route come down this highway, down this beautiful barrier beach, which is Ocean Parkway, Fire Island, and I want to end up somewhere over here. Now, we're going to choose Lowe's Home Improvement as our second spot. You could pick a gas station, you could pick a Starbucks. I'm just picking Lowe's for this application. I'm going to click on that, and now it goes again and populates right into our destination chart here. And you get an idea of what it's doing for you. It's giving you options and directions that you want to go, and it gives you, of course, the fastest route to your final destination. But for our purposes, I'm not interested in this ride going right down a highway to Lowe's. We want to make this a little more adventurous, more fun, and like I said before, I really want to bring it down on Ocean Parkway. So this is exactly what you'll do with Google Maps to manipulate Google Maps in the direction you want to go. Now, clearly, I could just press this button here and it will actually bring me exactly the way I want to go, but I don't want to just show you that. I want to show you the click, drag, and drop method of using Google Maps. And basically what you can do is that you can go here, you can click, you can pull, and you can place. And what that's going to do is give you the ability to move your mapping on any street that you want to go to get to your final destination. So now that we got the basic, simple aspects of Google Maps, let's take this to the next level. Let's put another destination in, okay? Now, I know my next destination. I want it to be Smith Point Beach, which is down here. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to pick this icon as my next stop. Now, you can pick any place you want on the map. Doesn't necessarily have to have an icon. You can just place a pin or left click and it will bring you to that spot. But we're going to click here and it is going to bring us to this screen where it says add stop. We are going to click that and we're going to add a stop. And now Google Maps says, all right, now you want to go from Lowe's to Smith Point Beach, and here is your ride. 55.4 miles, approximately a little over an hour, and here you go. Well, this isn't exactly what I want. I don't really want to do more highway heading from Lowe's to Smith Point Beach. So I'm going to do a drag and drop and actually manipulate this down into a secondary road, Montauk Highway, to get off the highway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this circle here that represents Lowe's, and I'm going to drag it down here. Now, what can sometimes happen is that Google Maps gets a little wonky, and it wants to help you place things and sometimes messes your map up. So you got to be patient with this, and you got to understand how to use this. Now, what's going to happen is once I bring this from Lowe's down, we're actually going to lose Lowe's as our destination, which is okay for our purposes. You could leave this here if you wanted to, but I am going to eliminate it just to make it easier when we come off the highway to get right on this secondary road here. So we're going to left click this dot, we're going to bring this down, and now you can see we eliminated Lowe's, and now we're starting to travel down Montauk Highway. And you keep scrolling, you keep left clicking, dragging, and bringing it down until it's where you want it to be. And we're going to continue dragging this down. Hopefully it follows the way we want it to go. As you can see, we can keep on clicking, dragging, and there we go. So we eliminated a highway, we dragged our map down, and now instead of going highway all the way over, we are going to take a secondary back road through a bunch of towns that people in your group might not normally go to, and you get to see a more scenic route. It will be a slower route, but you will also have the opportunity to do things that you normally wouldn't do as a club. Or better said, see things that you normally wouldn't see as a club. So now we have our map. We have it mapped out really well. We manipulated Google Maps to do what we wanted. Now, something to keep in mind is anywhere along this route, you can add stops, you can add gas stations for gas, you can add any place you want to stop to stretch your legs, Maybe you want to make a second stop to pick people up, or a third stop for people in another county or another state or another town that you want to participate, but you need a stopping position. You can add that anywhere. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add a stop going back to our starting point. Because let's face it, hour and a half ride from one area to another, it looks like a beautiful ride, but we want to ride more than that. We don't want to go out just for an hour and a half and 56 miles, right? We want to open up our bikes. We want to enjoy the air. So what we're going to do is, instead of just stopping at Smith Point, we're actually going to make our starting point, which is Home Depot, now our ending point. And what you want to do is go back to the left, your left screen. You want to right-click to highlight, copy, go to Add Destination, right-click, and then paste. This will come up, and you want to click that, and now Google is going to complete your course all the way back to your starting point. This is your starting point. This is your end point. So now we have 105 miles, 2.5 hour trip, and I'm going to say that's a respectable, nice run for a club, especially if you're starting out. You don't want to make it too adventurous, and from this point you can always add or subtract to your ride. But let's just for argument's sake say, this is a long ride. We kind of want to add a stop somewhere for everyone to take a break, have some coffee, hot chocolate, some tea. We're going to do it after the Smith Point Park run. Because right after here, it looks like Google's taking us up, and we're going to have a straight run back on a highway back to our destination. So what I like to do is scroll into an area like this, zoom in, and when you get to different areas, you will start seeing that store names will come up, and it's going to give you a great idea of where to stop and what to do. So I know right over here we have Wendy's, Taco Bell, Dunkin' Donuts, KFC across the street, Chipotle, and I believe there's a gas station in the area just down here. So I'm going to pick Dunkin' Donuts. So this is what I'm going to do. And once you left click Dunkin' Donuts, it's going to again populate on the left hand side and say, do you want to add a stop? You left click that. Now Dunkin' Donuts is going to come up. Now, of course, in Google fashion, it wants you to go from Smith Point all the way back to Home Depot, then back to Dunkin' Donuts. That's obviously not going to work. So you're going to go to the left icon here. It's going to say drag to reorder. You're going to left click, and you're going to move it up one position. And what that's going to do, when you scroll in or zoom in, it is going to give you, on your way, directions to stop at Dunkin' Donuts and then to get back on. This is probably where I'm going to complete this tutorial on how to create a map for your club as a road captain. This is going to give you the basic ideas of what to do, how to map it, and all your parameters for your club. Now, there's a lot more to this. That will be in part 2, but this is the basic idea. Now, what you want to also do is play with this. Make a few different runs. Open up multiple windows. Save your ideas. Write them down. And what we're going to do on the next one is I'm going to show you what I personally do after this. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please make a comment, what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you think can be added for the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed, and safe riding.